Imagine stepping outside on your own street at 7:15 only to be shot by a group of wannabe cops calling themselves HOA enforcers, all because the HOA president decided to enforce a curfew no one voted for, no one agreed to, and no one had the right to impose. A normal neighborhood, a misplaced package, and one woman drunk on power. That's all it took for everything to spiral. And this time, she targeted the wrong family. Beatrice Langford always needed something to control. The lawns, the mailboxes, the shade of paint people used on their shutters. Nothing escaped her clipboard or her judgment. But the morning her package went missing, something inside her snapped clean in half. It wasn't stolen. It was mislabeled at the depot and delivered to the wrong house 2 streets over. But Beatrice Langford didn't consider that for a single second. In her mind, someone had taken it. Someone had dared to violate her personal universe. And in her world, that meant war. She stormed into the cul-de-sac like a general stepping onto a battlefield, robe flapping, hair wild, and fury practically vibrating off her skin. "Someone here took my package," she screamed. "I know it." People came out of their homes confused, half asleep, holding coffee mugs. A few tried to reason with her. A few didn't bother. They'd seen this kind of meltdown before. But this time, Beatrice Langford wasn't content to rant and storm off. This time, she built an army. She called them the HOA Tactical Division, though everyone knew the HOA had no such thing. It didn't stop her from recruiting washed-up mall cops, rejected security guard applicants, and 3 men who still wore sunglasses at night because they thought it made them look important. They stood beside her, arms folded, wearing matching shirts, cheap radios, and badges Beatrice Langford printed off a home laminator. "This neighborhood is officially under lockdown," Beatrice Langford declared. "Until my package is returned, no one leaves their home after 7 p.m., not for groceries, not for dog walking, not for anything." Someone laughed, but she wasn't joking. She slammed a gavel, yes, she carried one, and pointed it across the street like she was casting judgment from a throne. "I am the president of this HOA," she said, "and I am the law." Across the street, Alicia Brooks and Reese Brooks watched from their porch. Alicia Brooks, calm and level-headed, shook her head. "She's lost it." Reese Brooks didn't answer. He stood quietly, arms folded across his chest, eyes narrowed. Ex-Special Forces, trained to spot danger even when wrapped in madness. "It'll blow over," Alicia Brooks said. Reese Brooks didn't look convinced. By the next evening, Beatrice Langford's madness wasn't just a rumor. It was fully operational. Her so-called HOA Tactical Division marched through the neighborhood in mismatched camouflage pants, thrift store boots, and sunglasses that made them look like villains from a low-budget action movie. They carried clipboards like sacred documents and cheap pistols they had no business touching. Beatrice Langford strutted behind them like a dictator on parade, shouting orders and waving that ridiculous gavel as if it held divine authority. "This is for neighborhood security," she barked. "Order must be restored. Order." In a neighborhood with trimmed hedges and kids drawing chalk art on sidewalks. The curfew notice went up on every door. No outdoor movement after 7 p.m., no exceptions, no warnings. People laughed at first, then they saw the guns. Then they stopped laughing. At the emergency HOA meeting, residents packed into the clubhouse, sweating in folding chairs under a broken AC unit. Alicia Brooks stood beside Reese Brooks, listening as voices rose all around them. "This is insane. She can't do this. This is America, not a prison yard." Beatrice Langford adjusted her pearls and smiled like she was savoring the chaos. "The curfew stays," she said. "Anyone who defies it will have themselves to blame." That flicker in her eyes, Alicia Brooks saw it. It wasn't fear. It was thrill. Reese Brooks leaned over and whispered, "She's daring someone to push back." Alicia Brooks exhaled slowly. "She won't get that from me." Except later that night, she needed air. The house felt too tight. The situation felt too unreal. Reese Brooks was on a call with a doctor about Natasha's upcoming physical therapy appointment. Alicia Brooks didn't want to interrupt. She slipped outside quietly, wearing sandals and a thin sweater. It was 7:15 p.m. The street was dim, peaceful, crickets just beginning their nightly chorus. Alicia Brooks walked with her hands in her pockets, trying to steady her thoughts. Then headlights hit her. "Stop! Don't move!" 3 of Beatrice Langford's enforcers stepped out, guns drawn, radios crackling. Alicia Brooks blinked. "I'm just walking. I live here." "You're violating HOA Regulation 7B, one snapped. Alicia Brooks almost laughed. That's not a real law. The leader squinted. Thinking seemed to hurt him. She broke curfew, he muttered. Beatrice Langford said, bang! A gunshot shattered the night. Pain exploded through Alicia Brooks' leg. She screamed and dropped to the pavement, blood already soaking her jeans. Have you ever lived in a neighborhood where one person thought they were the law? What would you do if someone tried to lock down your entire street, then armed a group of wannabe soldiers to enforce it? Before we dive in, what city or country are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you believe no one should be shot for stepping outside their own home, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc for stories that remind us power isn't real if nobody obeys it. One enforcer panicked. What did you do? She said we have to make an example. Alicia Brooks couldn't breathe. Reese Brooks was right. Won't the sirens cut through the night like truth finally waking up? Real police cruisers, real paramedics, real authority. They didn't stop at Beatrice Langford's hand-painted barricades or her laughable HOA tactical checkpoint. They rolled right through, tires crushing her signs like dead leaves. Alicia Brooks was lifted onto a stretcher, pale, shaking, bleeding, but conscious. Reese Brooks appeared beside her, silent, controlled, eyes locked on hers. Don't let her win, Alicia Brooks whispered, voice thin with pain. His jaw tightened. She won't. But this moment, this sight changed him. The switch flipped. He wasn't just a concerned husband now. He became who he used to be. Reese Brooks, former Special Forces, the calm one they sent in when situations spiraled past sanity. Police started asking questions, taking statements, collecting witnesses. Neighbors flooded forward now, fear turning into fury. She armed civilians. She threatened us. She said she could jail kids. She ordered them to shoot people. Reese Brooks didn't waste time arguing with anyone. He went home, sat down, and began working, quietly, surgically. He had a different skill set than most. He pulled old contacts. He downloaded footage from Ring cameras. He screen-captured threats from Beatrice Langford's community emails. He recorded statements from neighbors who wouldn't speak to cops but would speak to him. Then he dug deeper. Fake badges purchased online, unregistered firearms, false authority claims, illegal detainment threats, and the curfew, written like law, enforced like tyranny. Beatrice Langford had built a militia without a clue how deep the consequences ran. Reese Brooks built a case, not just against her, but against every grown man who chose cosplay over common sense. He packaged everything neatly, timestamps, screenshots, written threats, recordings, testimonies, weapon brand evidence, HOA policy violations, unlawful impersonation laws. Every name involved, it was airtight. It was airtight. He delivered it directly to detectives, not emailed, not texted. He walked in, handed the drive over, identified himself, and said, "Everything you need is on this. She won't walk away from it." Detectives looked at him differently after that, respectfully, like a man who wasn't just angry, but a man who knew exactly how justice works when it's dragged into a fight. Meanwhile, Beatrice Langford was still out there, smirking on her porch, sipping iced tea like she was queen of a gated kingdom. She had no idea the walls were already falling. Beatrice Langford's downfall didn't come quietly. It came roaring. Within 48 hours, every agency that mattered showed up. Local police, county investigators, even a federal rep. Because armed civilian enforcement crosses lines Beatrice Langford never knew existed. Her so-called enforcers were rounded up one by one, dragged out of houses wearing pajama bottoms, and shame. Radios seized, guns confiscated, fake badges zipped into evidence bags like props from a failed theater audition. Beatrice Langford tried one last performance. She stormed outside in full pearls and gavel mode, yelling, "This neighborhood is under HOA sovereign jurisdiction. You have no authority here." The lead detective didn't even blink. "You're done talking." They cuffed her mid-rant. The iced tea spilled. The gavel dropped. Her face twisted into disbelief, because for the first time, someone wasn't scared of her. They were done with her. Alicia Brooks was recovering at home, leg-wrapped, pain sharp but spirit unbroken. She watched the flashing lights through the living room window, breathing slow, feeling something she hadn't felt since the gunshot. Relief. The trial was brutal. Every threat, every illegal order, every armed patrol, every curfew warning, every witness statement, every injury. And most damning of all, Alicia Brooks, shot at 7:12 p.m. for walking. Beatrice Langford sat in court, eyes cold, lips tight, shoulders stiff with entitlement. She never apologized, never admitted anything. She called herself a community protector. The prosecutor called her what she really was, a suburban tyrant, armed with delusion and firearms. The judge didn't hesitate. 25 years in federal prison, plus restitution to every single resident she terrorized. The enforcer who shot Alicia Brooks got 18 years. The others, 10 to 12 each. As the sentence was read, the courtroom was silent. Then a cheer erupted in the back row. Beatrice Langford didn't even get a final speech. No clipboard, no authority, just handcuffs and silence. The HOA was dissolved within a week. New bylaws were written. Nobody forgot what happened, but nobody would ever let it happen again. If you believe that standing up to abusive power is worth every fight, hit that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. And if you think Beatrice Langford got exactly what she deserved, let us know in the comments.